Welcome back. It is Oscar Monday, the Jeff Fox Show, and we're having a lot of fun, man, talking to a lot of local industry execs and important people. And we're going to keep it local, man, as we continue with Oscar Monday here on the Jeff Fox Show. We're going to go to the Real Man Block guest line and speak with our good friend Warren Shaw. You can follow him on Twitter at Shaw Sports NBA. For the latest in the NBA, he's also the co-host of the NBA Baseline podcast with Game Face Lee. What up, Warren? How you doing, man? How was the weekend?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking. How about yourself, Jeff?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all, man. I enjoyed this past weekend immensely, starting with the story that took over the internet, the Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma. I don't know if you want to call that a battle. I don't know if it's a TKO. A route, but oh my goodness, what happened there, my brother?
That was fun stuff, man. Like, listen, I'll tell you where I was. I was just, going through my Saturday, showing my girl, her kids, everything like that, and my homeboy, who doesn't even really like newer school, quote unquote, hip hop, if you will. And I don't know where you put Remy Ma, if you will. She's new school, old school, whatever. But anything that's kind of out right now, he's not really vibing with. He sends me a text, and he's quoting lyrics, from Sheetha. And I'm like, well, what the hell is this? And, you don't even like today's hip-hop, if you will. He's like, yo, son, she murked me. So, it just goes to show you that even the old school heads, like this kind of brings it back to that, when rap battles were rap battles, if you will. And although Nicki, is choosing not to respond right now, I think it's one of those things that it's just great. It's great for music. And, again, they're going to keep it on wax, quote-unquote. I know it's not even on wax anymore. I guess they're keeping it digital.
Right.
But one way or the other, I think that was fun stuff, man. And then, like I said, Remy went in, man. She proved why she's a true lyricist out there.
Absolutely, man. It took me back to LL Cool J and Kool Moe Dee and who was beefing with Cannabis. I don't remember who was beefing with Cannabis and Cassidy and all of that stuff. That's when hip hop is fun. And this was a fun weekend watching the Sheetha video, and you would stop and be like, ooh. Did you hear what she just said? Oh, no, she didn't. And I am really blown away by the responses that I've seen on Instagram and all on social media. Like, the memes have been brutal. And someone said that Nicki's going to need all 20 of her personalities to come back in Remy Ma. I think this one's over, bro. I think this one's over.
It's over before it started, and all kind of rumors about who actually involved, and Meek Mill getting involved, and was he meeting Remy in the back parking lot, giving her secrets and all kind of stuff. It's really, really wild out there. Like you said, the memes too. The internet you cannot get murked. You cannot mess up in today's world, because the internet will find you and just make a mockery of your entire life.
Yeah, they certainly will. How about last night, man? Oscar night up there in Hollywood, and the 305 was represented. Liberty City, and of course the movie Moonlight and all the shenanigans of the night. What did you think? What went through your mind when the I guess they had that huge gap at the end of the show?
Well, let me tell you the truth. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset, because I'll be 100%. I haven't seen La La Land. Musicals are just not my thing. So I pretty much watch every single Oscar movie except for that, because again, I know I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm predisposed. But when I saw that La La Land won, I dipped out. I left the TV on, but I dipped out. I didn't start to watch their acceptance speech and things like that. Now I was literally about to go take a shower, relax, cool down for the night. Took my phone with me, and I just getting all these notifications, and I was like, "What the hell happened, yo?" So then I started to read it on Twitter. I was like, no way, no Steve Harvey moment here. There's no way this went down that way. I came back out. Luckily, like I said, I didn't change the channel. I just dipped out, hit the DVR, and I damn near lost my mind. I said, how in the hell did something like this happen? You build up the entire night. What was it, 3.5 hours of worth of show?
Yes.
And then at the very, very end, you get it wrong. And I don't know what happened exactly with Warren Beatty and what he's saying about Emma Stone being on the card. I don't even understand that. But one way or the other, that was one of the biggest gaffes you'll ever see on television history. And credit Jimmy Fallon, because he tried to take blame for it and, try to not necessarily make light of it, but he tried to absorb some of that brunt of it. But that somebody messed up. And, like I said, some jobs are definitely going to be fired after that.
Yeah, I thought Jimmy Fallon was phenomenal. I thought Jimmy Fallon
Yeah,
was funny. The jabs at Donald Trump was just
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah,
And
man. You
and
up?
and
You up?
yeah, and then when he went after what's her name, Meryl Streep.
Yeah. And Meryl's the queen.
Yeah, and you know, of course, he's making light of Donald Trump. He's calling Meryl Streep overrated, and the audience totally got it. I mean, and they just
Yeah.
went in, man. So once again, Hollywood takes another jab at the president of the United States. It's not going to stop, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, there's so many people with strong opinions about that situation and our current president, if you will. At this point, what do they have to lose? I mean, what is he really going to do to them, if you will? So I
Right.
think they're baiting him. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, and I say whatever you want to, but it's a lose-lose situation for him because he's going to continue
Yeah.
to get ripped, by actors and people in the media, if you will. But if he responds, it's like, well, why are you being so petty? You know what I mean? So he just kind of has
Right.
to just take it and let us have our fun, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking to Warren Shaw of Shaw Sports NBA on Twitter. That's how you follow him, folks. Here on the Jeff Fox Show. How about the beef? Speaking of beef, what's beef? Shaq and JaVale McGee. One of the more, I mean, I found this entertaining too, even though some people felt they both went over the top. But I enjoyed this as well. Shaq to the Fool is hilarious, but JaVale McGee apparently has had enough.
It's a wild situation, though. I mean, I'm sure it's been covered and, many different opinions out there. But nobody's ever really taken up for JaVale, the way that the Warriors have and, Kevin Durant has come to his aid, if you will. And, yeah, Shaq has, like, this law. He's beating a dead horse at this point. Like, we know who JaVale is. And at this point, maybe he should leave it alone. But for McGee to, like, bomb the way he did, I think he knew that he would get some backing, from some of his teammates and even the organization. And that's kind of what's, like, taking it over the edge. And I guess my understanding of it is I haven't really read up on everything just today, but Shaq's mom got involved, JaVale's mom got involved, and I guess they're, quote-unquote, squashing it. But the one thing I will say about this, whether you think it's like a news fodder or whatever you want to think about it, it is something interesting to talk about. But on a serious standpoint, think about it from other players that are in the league watching the Golden State organization. The fact that Golden State's management and administration went to TNT to try to mediate a situation on behalf of a player that barely made their roster is going to hold a lot of weight with future free agents and future players that want to go there. Not that they're going to have a problem drawing people over there anyway with the amount of time they have and the potential chances that they're going to win, but the fact that management team decided to step in, that's something that when you talk about all the other teams that are messing up organizationally in their front offices and not having players back, Golden State went above and beyond in this situation for something that was ridiculous with JaVale and Shaq.
That is a great point, Shaw. That is a great point. Players love organizations that will go to war for you, that will step on the front line and battle for you. And we don't see a whole lot of that going on in the NBA. Rather, we're seeing, teams battle with their own players.
Right.
Example, New York and Carmelo, and that's definitely a great point about Golden State. And I see that Kevin Durant had something to say about it. And ESPN's, what's his name, Jalen Rose also chimed in on behalf of McGee. Again, I like the Shaq to the Fool. It's purely fun. They've been doing it since the beginning of time, but maybe Shaq needs to lay off of him in particular, since he seems to be not in the laughing mood when it comes to Shaq to the Fool.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like I said, sometimes enough is enough, and if you get a butterfly jokes, and the thing about it, here's the thing about JaVale for me is that there has been a lot of truth to the things that he's been Shaq to the Fool for. Like, he is a little bit goofy, he is a little bit off, and all those things. So, not being able to embrace that to some degree, I think, has been his downfall. But he's trying to turn the corner and leave that in the past, if you will. And I understand that. You have to understand everybody doesn't want to be held for, not necessarily held accountable, but to always be judged by mistakes of their past. And he's trying to become, quote unquote, a serious basketball player on a championship level team. So he feels like, all the shacks and jabs, if you will, it continues to hurt his reputation. And he's playing for a contract. He was almost out of the league. You know what I mean? So for him, it really is about, for lack of a better phrase here, life or death, if you will, when it comes to his basketball career.
Shaw, the whole Boogie Cousins being traded in the last week or so, the experiment going on there with New Orleans and in Sacramento, the Boogie Cousins for Buddy Hield trade doesn't look so promising right now, despite the good numbers for Boogie Cousins. He picked up his 18th technical foul over the weekend and will miss the next game. Any second thoughts there?
I think you knew what you were buying when you got Cousins, especially for that price if you're New Orleans. So I don't think there's any buyer's remorse just yet. And they did it as a last-ditch effort to try to make the playoffs this year. But either way, they're still going to have another year with him. And I think they're more focused on that per se. If they get in this year and can make a little noise and get some notoriety for that organization, that can only help and build momentum. But I can't think in my heart of hearts that this organization was like, okay, well, if he doesn't come, if he comes and we don't make the playoffs this year, it's an absolute failure. You knew you were going to have these growing pains. There's only 25 to 28 games left or whatever it is, and you still need some pieces around them. Like I said, you're taking a shot at it, but you're not like, oh my God, if we don't make it, it's the end of the world. Next year is really what it's going to be about, and hopefully, I think having Gentry and having that system kind of around them, Anthony Davis, maybe they get a veteran in there, and I think that's as much as part of Jarrett Jack going there as much as anything else. Yeah, they need some help in the backcourt, but Jarrett Jack is a well-respected guy too and a great veteran. So they brought him there to maybe see how he can mesh with the Marcus as well. So they're going to take this little by little, but I don't think they're all in on this year going into the playoffs and have any buyer's remorse.
Yeah, it's going to be a long shot for the Pelicans to get in. Tough fight ahead for those guys. We're talking to Warren Shaw, Shaw Sports NBA, co-host of the Baseline, NBA Baseline podcast. Follow them on Twitter at the NBA Baseline. Now we get down to the Cavaliers adding to their roster. It's expected that Darren Williams is going to join the fold, as well as Andrew Bogut. Does this make Cleveland now the team to beat in the NBA?
I still think it's Golden State. I mean, I think it whatever distance I think the Raptors might have closed with their moves and getting P.J. Tucker and Serge Ibaka, the Cavaliers might have just given them, kind of the Heisman pose, giving them that little stiff arm a little bit, like, all right, back up. Yeah, I mean, I think they are still obviously the class of the Eastern Conference. I think they were even with Toronto's moves. I think this really helped them from a depth standpoint there. But I don't think it gets them necessarily over the hump versus the Golden State. It's definitely going to make it more interesting, for sure. Yeah. Darren Williams, in limited minutes, coming off the bench, is a guy who can knock down the threes, a great free throw shooter, runs pick and roll, very well. And he's older and like that, but he can still push the ball a little bit here and there too. Bogut, they're going to obviously use for his rebounding and rim protection, and trying to keep guys like Clay and Steph out of the lane and KD out of the lane as well too. So it really could be more interesting as a result. But I'd be, again, I don't want to hedge my bets. I really felt like Golden State was the best team coming into the league this year, and I'm not going to bet against them just yet.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by that move. If the Cavs, go on to complete the additions, I'm leaning a little bit in their direction because I think you can out-physical Golden State and, put bodies on them, and it makes Cleveland big with Bogut and with Tristan Thompson. It's going to be very, very interesting to see. J.R. Smith also coming back for them as well. The Cavaliers are loaded, man. They are loaded. Yeah. Speaking of a hot team, since January 17th, the Miami Heat are 8-0 against playoff teams. They're 6-0 against teams over 500. They just won again, dominated the Pacers 113-95 over the weekend. What type of voodoo is Erik Spoelstra cooking up down here in Miami?
It's great. I think it's great. Another thing when you talk about your marketability to other players and to other teams out there, seeing a coach like this really get the most out of what he's gotten out of this roster, which really is. He's squeezing blood from a rock at this point. They continue to perform. I think that one of the biggest differences is obviously the play of Deion Waiters, Goran Dragic also being more assertive on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. But they're not trying to feature Whiteside. And I think at the beginning of the year, that's what they were trying to do. You have to pay him a lot of money. And he wanted to be an all-star. He wants to have all these accolades and things like that too. And they were kind of force-feeding him the ball in the post. And now he's really just kind of picking up, where he can. He's just trying to pick a spot. And their offense is running through Dragic and Waiters. Waiters is obviously finally healthy and all of that. And their commitment to defense. James Johnson has been a godsend. I just don't understand where teams where he's been on where they didn't see his value. I mean, he doesn't cost you a lot of money, but he does pretty much everything well. He's a jack of all trades, if you will. And I know he's had some issues here and there, but he's a very good basketball player. And the Miami Heat were able to capitalize and use him and utilize his skills as well. So for me, Erik Spoelstra, he's not going to win unless they somehow, and even if they somehow were to make it to 500 this year, he's not going to win Coach of the Year, but he very well probably should. because I haven't seen a coaching job like this good really since last year when Terry Stotts somehow got the Blazers into the playoffs. But I don't think Spoelstra is going to have that same effect with Miami. I think they started off a little bit too slow.
I'll tell you this. I personally want to go down to the AAA and apologize to Erik Spoelstra because I've been killing him over the years, for the job I thought that he did not do with the Big Three. But he has clearly proven himself to be a top 5 coach, maybe top 3 in the NBA with what he's done with his team. Do you share those sentiments?
I do. And obviously, if you follow the game, and there's a lot of the coach speak, if you will, and understanding that, okay, well, superstars are how hard is it to coach when you have this level of talent on your roster. And again, what he's doing this year alone elevates everything he's ever done previously. Because I don't think it's easy to coach superstars, but it's harder to coach when you have no talent at all. And he's really just stepped up and done an amazing job with his team again. I sit here and wonder every year. I look at the box score. I'm like, they did it again, huh? Do they not know they're not good? I mean, do they not understand it? But it doesn't matter. They just get it done. The 3-point shooting has increased. They lower their turnovers. They're just more efficient offensively, and they played really, really good defense. And that I think, has been the biggest key to anything else. And Spoelstra has been preaching defense ever since he's been in the league, and he's got these guys to actually buy in.
Hey, I see you've done some great work with the podcasting and stuff, but tell everybody all about Shaw Sports. You just tweeted out a publication where he kind of covers everything in the sports world. Tell them more about that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I mean, my passion is not just basketball, so ShawSports.net is definitely where I have some basketball talk. When I have some people willing to contribute in the football and baseball arenas, we'd love to get into that as well, too. So a little baseball show, but my other thing, too, is I love entertainment. I'm a big TV and movie guy, so I do some stuff like that as well, too, when I have a chance to. Maybe if I get a movie review, I might put up something up, on that movie and things like that nature. So Shaw Sports is your home for anything sports, and we're always looking for people to contribute and help us out as well. We'll be heading to the Miami Film Festival starting up this weekend as well, too. I don't know if you'll be down there, Jeff, but we'd love to link up with you and check out some of that stuff. Kenny Anderson has a movie, debuting Mr. Tibbs. So I'm going to be out at that on Sunday. So definitely, man, always look out for us, and we'll definitely be putting up some more content on ShawSports.net. Definitely,
we will be there as well, checking out the Kenny Anderson stuff. Always a guest here on the Jeff Fox Show, and we'll run into each other, man. We'll definitely link up. All right.
Yes, sir, Jeff. And I appreciate it, brother.
All right, thank you, man. Thanks for joining us. Warren Shaw at Shaw Sports NBA, of course, right here on the Jeff Fox Show with the latest in sports and entertainment. We'll be back with more right here on the Jeff Fox Show.